president of Vital Learning in the United States. So we started with LinkedVA as a way to be able to continue the LinkedIn activity that we were doing, but essentially have someone else take on that responsibility. So to give you, I guess, a little bit of background, we had been working with LinkedIn for about 8 months as a way to generate sales and as an additional channel that was bringing in really good leads and sales into our business. And so that it was something that we saw value in. It was a great additional lead generation channel that we had kind of just started to develop and see some early results. But really the key problem was that there was, from a time perspective and with the folks in our team, so we're a fairly small organization, and the individual who was handling that on our team had all sorts of other responsibilities that was already on his plate, and the LinkedVA was just something that got added to that. And so he was regularly finding that he wasn't able to keep up with all of the LinkedIn activities that we had on a daily basis, which again we're finding really valuable, but we're very time intensive, and also complete all of the other important priorities he had from sales and marketing perspective as well. So that's kind of where it started, and kind of why we started looking into ways to take all of those tasks and bring on a new person onto our team who can really dedicate themselves to doing those daily tasks and responsibilities. Good results so far. I think we've continued with that momentum that we've had from a lead generation perspective that we had previously, and continued that with LinkedVA. So that's been a good result. It took us probably about 4 months from starting that LinkedIn activity to really nail down our messaging and our approach and how we're going about this process. And so about 4 months in, I think we really honed that in, and we're kind of going along, and it was just a matter of execution. And that's really where LinkedVA came in, is they helped us be able to continue to execute effectively. And so we've seen that kind of continuation of those results that we had previously, which is great. We've been able to dedicate more time to longer term initiatives because we're spending less time on that kind of day-to-day LinkedIn activity. So that's allowed us to spend more time on longer term initiatives, whether that's marketing related, product related, sales related. It's just freed up time to be able to work on those things while still having that the nice LinkedIn lead generation channel kind of moving along at a consistent pace. It made onboarding faster, I would say, and I think something that really helped is early in the process we kind of talked about how we specifically as an organization went about the LinkedIn kind of messaging process and the cadence, and why we're doing what we're doing, and so having LinkedVA to give John all the background that he got before starting certainly helped and kind of made our onboarding process faster. We as I think with anyone joining a team, there's of course a little period of kind of ramping up, but that period was very, very short. So we were able to get up and running pretty quickly. I think it's especially good for small businesses, and for businesses that can benefit from LinkedIn sales outreach. And so that's certainly not every business or every industry. I think that's something to determine is finding prospects on LinkedIn right for you? I would say that's probably the first question to ask, in my opinion. And is that a good fit for your business? In other words, can you identify decision makers who are on LinkedIn, who are open to having a conversation, and connecting with you about, whatever you do and the value that you add and that you can provide to them. So I would say that's kind of the pre-step, is figuring out whether, as a business, lead generation through LinkedIn makes sense for you. And then after that, I think, once you have a good kind of process in place, I would say, it's good to do that first, to test it out on your own, and almost to, in some sense, feel the pain of sending those daily LinkedIn messages out, which, if you're going with a nice kind of consistent program, and having a pretty broad outreach, that can take, a lot of time. And so it is very time consuming, but I think it's good to do that in the beginning, because you start to get a better sense of, what that messaging is. You can hone that messaging a little bit better, and really start to solidify that process. And then I would say at that point, what I think a lot of businesses will find is that it's really hard to keep up with that, and keep that going consistently, which is exactly what you need to be successful on LinkedIn. It's something that doesn't happen, overnight. It's in some ways akin to inbound marketing, right? So it's a long-term investment and takes, at least 3 or 4 months to start bearing fruit. And so you need to keep that activity up consistently. Where I think LinkedIn can be really helpful is they have folks who are able to do this, who are trained in these LinkedIn sales, and you can kind of plug that in right away. So it's a nice way to make a really seamless transition from doing all this work yourself to having someone else join your team virtually, and them handling all of those responsibilities, as well as other admin tasks.